Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of JakesTake.com, a pop culture and entertainment news website. Now, before you go on, if you're listening to this podcast, subscribe. And then also, if you're watching this, subscribe and hit the like button below. I'm so happy because I'm very welcoming one of the American Ninja Warriors' top rookies who's slowly rising through the ranks. He is a ninja. He's a lifeguard. He's a swim instructor. He's also the Ninja Coach. He's also known as the Cake Ninja. Please help me welcome David Wright.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me.
No problem. No problem at all.
All righty. So, David, when did you get interested in fitness, and how did that passion evolve into the desire to get into ninja?
So everybody usually asks this question. You wouldn't expect a guy who professes his love for cake often to be someone super focused about fitness. And honest truth is, I was not. I was a couch potato until I was like 16 years old. You could find me on a couch just like reading books and watching TV, and that was pretty much my life. If you had asked me about the show, I would have been like, yeah, cool, I watch it, and it's fun watching the announcer scream in Japanese, because this was back when there was only Sasuke. And then one day my mom was looking up for things to get the younger kids out, and we came upon this gym, Iron Sports, and so I got dragged to the class because it was like, your younger siblings are going, so you have to go and keep an eye on them. And so I went in, and I can say that I was a little cocky about how strong I was, and I was not that strong at all. And so the first class I did absolutely whipped my butt. And from there, it kind of like fired up this competitive drive in me. And so I was like, let's go back. And so we went back, and I tried it again. There was this kid who was like 1 year younger than me, but he did everything absolutely perfect. And I was over here like stumbling through obstacles. And just by trying to compete with him and try to become better, I eventually started having fun with it. And I don't know exactly when the turning point was that I grew to love the sport, but I know that now it's my most favorite thing in the world.
Awesome. Now, because of that passion, you rose to the ranks and became a ninja coach. So can you describe your ninja coach duties to my audience?
So coaching for ninja, you think it would be something as in like babysitting, like something you would see at a trampoline park, because obviously kids are just going to do it naturally, and you don't really have to do anything but watch. But actually coaching is really important for kids. They learn how to fall, they learn how to properly move their body. And so what we do is, as ninja coaches, we teach them, all right, the proper way to swing and where exactly to kick and how to use your hips. We work on strengthening drills, so that way your hands can get some massive calluses. I don't know if you guys can see, but my hands are like, they're raw. All right. You don't have those calluses. You usually tend to slip off of bars a lot more. And so we work on developing that. And then just mentally making sure that while they're doing it, it's not like there's not a pressure on them to perform well. It's all about having fun, because you're just moving from one spot to another most of the time. And most kids, if you tell them, hey, you have to do this exactly this way, boom, that's it. They're not going to have a lot of fun. But with us, with me especially, I like to make sure that the kid's smiling the entire way through.
And that is absolutely perfect. So you are known as the Cake Ninja. So your passion for cake. So tell me about your passion of cake and how it has made an impact on Ninja Warrior.
Well, my passion for cake, it wasn't originally what I was going to go with for the show. I wasn't quite sure what my ninja name was going to be. And so a lot of people who I trained with, they would call me Cake just because of how much I would devour it. Like if anybody had a birthday, you would know that I would pop up within like 5 seconds of them singing happy birthday to see if there was anything left over that I could maybe catch a quick bite off of. But the biggest part of the show is, kind of creating that that persona that people can look at and then instantly recognize. You have people like Captain NBC, who everybody knows, Jamie Ron, you have Adam Braille, you have Daniel Gill, and they all have these things, that people can instantly recognize them by. Like if you saw someone with green hair just died, you'd instantly know, oh, that's a Captain NBC fan. All right. And so I really thought that cake would be nice because it sums me up as a person. Like I don't have the backstory, that can just allow me to use my name. But if people see cake, they know that I'm here for fun and I'm here to help you have fun too. Cake came from when I was working out. A lot of times what people would have is they would have the food they were trying to get rid of. And most of the time that turned out to be cake or cupcakes. And so it was one Valentine's Day that we were rock climbing. And so we were training our grip and this is after hours. And so it's the day after and the staff were like, we have these giant cupcakes, that we got for Valentine's Day, but not a lot of people ate them. And so there's a bunch left. So if you guys want some, you can have it. So all my guys that I was training with, they're like, yeah, we'll maybe like snag one after we're climbing. And I was like, if I'm climbing, every time I get to the top of a route, I'm going to drop down and I'm going to have a cupcake. And they were like, you really are? And I was like, yeah, I really am. And so we did it and we timed it. It was 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, now keep in mind that these were not these mini cupcakes. They were like as big as my fist.
Were they this side?
Mm-hmm.
This size?
With a giant chocolate covered strawberry on it. All right.
Holy guacamole.
All right.
Maybe from Mimi's. It sounds like they're from Mimi's.
Maybe. I don't know. The gym didn't tell me. And so I climb up, drop down, run over, grab a cupcake, and stuff the entire thing in my mouth.
Okay. Now that's...
While I had it in my mouth, I would go climb another route. And so 30 minutes, I ate 13 cupcakes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you can kind of see where I get the name from. It's not just because I love cake. It's because I love cake. All right. And our first competition that we had was going on. And so everybody was talking about how they had like butterflies in their stomach and, that there was a bunch of nerves that was going on. And they were like, I couldn't eat anything last night. They're like, David, what'd you eat? I was like, well, it was my sister's birthday yesterday. And so we had cake. And so I kind of had like 2 or 3 slices of that. And so it just kind of stuck, So when I was going for my ninja name, it was obvious. The one thing that I have is cake. Why not be the cake ninja?
Alrighty. So that's a really good origin story. So let's go back. Last year, your debut on American Ninja Warrior. That season, you dominated both the Oklahoma City Qualifiers and the City Finals, which included hitting 2 buzzers. So what did that experience mean to you for your rookie season? And you hit both the qualifiers buzzers and the city final buzzer.
I think it was life-changing, honestly. Like coming into the show, they had just lowered the age requirement to 19. And so I was turning 19 in February, and they were filming in March. So at the time, I was like, the deadline for submissions is December. I was like, I'm still 18. I'm going to send it in. I'm not going to get picked. It is what it is. And then they picked me. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fun. But I don't think I'm going to get very far. And so going into the show, I kind of had this mindset. My one goal was to not fall on the first obstacle in qualifiers. I was like, I am not going to be that guy. And I didn't. And as I was going, I was like, oh, this is just like training, but having water underneath you. Mm-hmm. And I honestly wasn't even really focused on the course going through it in qualifiers. I was just like, wow, and amazed and awestruck at how the lights were in my face and everything. And then before I knew it, I was at the wall and I was like, oh okay. I got the wall. The second night though, I had learned from Daniel Gill that he said that all the finalists, the guys who moved on, they got backpacks. And so I was like, I really want a finalist backpack. I feel like that would be the coolest thing ever, because I had seen some of people's and it has so many pockets. And so I was like, I'm going to go for that. And that's it. I just want the backpack. But our region was really stacked. And so I was in the middle of the run order. And so I wasn't quite sure I was going to go. And everybody was falling on obstacle 7, I believe, which was the crazy clocks. And so I was like, I have to make it past that. I have to get through. And so I just turned on the gas. I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep going. And I kept going. And pretty soon I was at the Samba ladder. And I was like, I'm not tired at all. We can do this. We can do this. I picked the board in the middle of the crazy clocks. And that kind of gave me a heart attack. But I grabbed it anyway. And when I finished that obstacle, it was just like, I actually have a shot at finishing this. But the next obstacle was snapback. And snapback was something that nobody had completed yet. And so going to it, it was like really freaky. And then I caught the first reverse grab. And I was like, I can finish this. I can finish this. And that was just like my mantra the entire time through, just keeping it in my head. Hey, you got this. 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 Get it. And then I was up at the buzzer and I hit it and I kind of inhaled the smoke.
All righty. So your journey ended at Mount Midoriyama, where you followed on stage 1 of the tire run. I'm sorry to bring that up, but what did it mean to you to actually be on stage 1 of Mount Midoriyama as a rookie?
So let me tell you, the pressure was real. Like OKC, it was nice and calm and relaxed. The list of competitors, I knew most of the guys on there, but I had trained with some of the top performers, so it's like nothing. When I went to stage 1 in Vegas, it was just to have all the stars that you've seen on the show for the past few years, like household names that you're going to run with, and you're like smack dab in the middle of it. And everybody's like, oh, you're the rookie who hit 2 buzzers. Right. We should see you hit another one tonight, because this course isn't even that bad. Let me tell you something. My heart was pumping. My heart was pumping. It was all over the place. Would I go back and change anything I did? No, because I needed that. I needed that humbling experience. But it just to have all those guys, you really find out how tight the ninja community is when you see someone as big as like Nick Hansen and Grant just step down and calm down a rookie who's like almost puking just because of how excited and how terrified he is. Let me say that everything felt bigger. Like these things felt massive. The tires, they look huge. And as I'm going on it, it's just expectations. I think I got in my own head. I was like, everybody expects you to finish. You need to finish and you need to be fast. And it was kind of like the complete opposite of OKC, where it was like, you can do this, you can do this. It was like, don't go yet, wait. And then boom, I was in the water. You know what I mean?
But however, due to the coronavirus pandemic, season 12 of American Ninja Warriors formatted very differently. The top 50 ninjas got to pick 2 representatives to join them. So not only that, when did you hear that production? What was your reaction when production picked you as one of the top 50? And also, could you describe your team to my audience?
Okay, so getting picked to be one of the 50 team captains, I was not expecting that at all. I was thinking that they picked someone else. There's a lot of people who I think were higher than me and should have been picked. And so going into it, I was like, I'm not going to get a call. It is what it is. I'll just train and prepare for next season, because people around me were getting calls and I hadn't received anything yet. And so I was like, that's cool. Maybe somebody picked me as a teammate, but it is what it is. And then I got the call and I was just like standing out in the parking lot, like, I need to train harder. Like, what have I been doing during quarantine? I've been laying around playing video games, finishing up. I got to get back into shape quick because they gave us about 3 or 4 weeks before they filmed the show. And so that month it was just like hitting it hard. But that feeling, that, I made such or I left a mark on the producers that, when they were considering team captains, they would pick me. It's kind of like hey, look, Mom, I made it. All right. And then my teammates, when we got through all the corona testing and we got to be in the hotels and we were finally allowed to, like train with each other. Man, oh man, oh man. I got some legendary fellows as my teammates. So I had Alex Carson and Amir Malik. Alex Carson, all right. He's a guy that passes under the radar for most people. Like, I didn't know who he was before the producers recommended me to him. And so I looked him up and reached out to him, kind of saw some of his training clips, and he's a finalist, and he's like super veteran. Like, just because your runs don't get aired on the show doesn't mean that people don't know who you are. And so I actually, Donovan, the classy ninja, he reached out to me. He was like, "You got my boy Alex." And I was like, "Your boy Alex?" I was like, I'll judge for myself. And then I met up with him, and dude crushed it. All right. This season he came in and he hit hard. And not to mention, he was kind of like the backbone of our team because he had this giant tuba that he was carrying around. And so he would blow on the tuba. And as he was blowing, me and Amir, we would kind of like lose it and start dancing. We were definitely the most fun team. And then, of course, you have Amir Malik, who most of you guys will know, or you should know by now. I mean, like, the kids over here crushing it. Affectionately known as Sonic, also because he goes fast. Him and I, we look like we're related, but we're not related. I promise. Even my mom was like, I don't know if that was my son I was cheering for, or, your friend. Our approaches to the course is kind of the same. You run fast, you don't stop, you turn on the jets, and you get as far as you can, as fast as you can. And it's no hesitation. And to watch this kid come in, he kind of reminds me of my rookie year. He's coming in and he's crushing it. Like, him and I, we both hit buzzers. We were right next to each other on the leaderboard in qualifiers. And in semifinals, we did the exact same thing. We had almost the fastest times. But unfortunately, I fell on dungeon because I went too fast and pumped out. And then he fell on spider trap because he couldn't lift up those last doors. But man, oh man, was he close. Yeah, you should definitely look out for us next week in finals. We're going to come in. You already know the game plan. We're going to try and win.
Absolutely, guys. And just to let you know, for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to watch American Ninja Warrior this year, head over to YouTube to watch clips or onto Peacock, which is the streaming service platform. So, and I got to say, Amir and Cam, those two ninjas are my two rookies of the year that I have to pick. Those guys were fabulous.
Yeah. Amir and Cam, bro. Like, my rookie year was nice. I hit 2 buzzers, which is more than Amir has at this point. So I was like, okay, I still got you, Amir. He was like, I beat you. I was like, but I got 2 buzzers. And so then I fun, friendly rivalry right there. They kind of downsized it for the show, but it's real. We went and got barbecue a couple other times, but to just talk with these guys and see their mindset, they come into a course and there's no fear. They're like, okay, I know what I'm going to do on this obstacle. I know what I'm going to do on this obstacle. Like, I've seen even some veteran ninjas who will go, oh, I'm a little worried about this obstacle, or maybe the balance will get me. I'm going to stop, take a break, calm and collect myself. Those boys, they'll just get there and they'll go, and boom, and they're gone, and they're flying through it. I mean, like, you've seen them. They're crushing it. I mean, Cam got a buzzer.
Yeah, he did. It's incredible. Let's get back to you, because the thing is, this qualifying course, you competed both the behind and sideways before attempting the mega wall. Do you think you could have, looking back on it, do you think you should have conserved a little bit more energy for the mega wall?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. My goal was, if we have 50 teams and it's stacked, going for the mega wall, if I slow down too much, what happens if I fall on an obstacle? And then boom, that's it. My season's ended. What happens if I get to the mega wall and I take so long that I miss it, and by the time I get there, I'm not in the top 13 and I'm not moving on. So I was like, I'm gonna get there. If I get there fast, I'll go for it. Originally, my plan was to go just for the fastest time and get the power tower. And so when I landed at the wall, I had the opportunity to just go up the regular wall and get maybe top 2 fastest times. But I told my teammates that the only reason I would do that is if they fell. So they went before me and they both hit buzzers, so they were going to move on anyway. And so I was like, I should try to one up them. I'm the captain, so I'll try going for the mega wall. I landed there. I was like, it's not going to be that bad. I went set and I went for it, and I didn't even know like how high I got in the moment. I was just like, I see my fingertips there. I see my fingertips there, and whoop. I was like, all right, I missed it, regular wall. And it was just like, no thought about it. Took like maybe 2 breaths and then went for it. It wasn't that big of a goal to me. Like sure, 10 grand would have been nice, but mostly I wanted to try it just to try it. Like OKC last year, I didn't go for the mega wall because it was the 3 attempts. And if you fail your 3 attempts, your course run ends there. And I wanted a buzzer. So this year I figured I'd try it out, see how it feels. If I get to try the mega wall ever again, I'm gonna get it.
All righty, so let's get to the semifinals. So you were able to clear all the obstacles, but that thing called the dungeon, that's crushed. That eliminated you from that from the competition. But what went through your mind as you were not the semifinals, but also because you're going to be in the final because you're on the finals, but also stop there. You were stopped. So what went through your mind as you were trying the dungeon?
So they made me look smooth on the show. I'll tell you that. They made me look smooth. But when I went onto Clockwork, which was obstacle number 3, the one with the gears, I hit the starting platform with my foot as I was going for a backswing. And so I went into what I tell my kids is the circle of doom. The circle of doom is where instead of going forwards and backwards, you're all over the place. And when you're there, you can't really control how you go. And so I took a couple extra swings. I think it was like 20 or 21 swings on Clockwork on the first gear alone. And so I landed off of it. And my first thought was, man, you're slow. What are you doing? And so I was like, all right, let's go. And so I turned on the jets and just ran through the course. I was flying. Like by the time I got there, I think it was at 3 minutes and 23 seconds. That was about the fastest time up to that point. Like total. Like if I had just made it through dungeon, then I could have been there, but I didn't. As I was going up, I was like, I can't feel my arms anymore. I was like, I went too fast. I've pumped out, my hands can barely grab anything. I was like, you're going to go for it. You're going to make it. I was like, vertical grips are your jam. And I made it to the end of the nunchucks and my hands started sliding. And I was like, we got to throw it. We're going to throw it. And so I kicked for it and just going into that cat grab. As I was coming off, I slipped. I was like, get your hands there. They went around, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but they went around. My hands grabbed the bars, but I could not squeeze them to close. So I was just sliding back, and I was like, yep, this is it. I felt like Gollum falling into Mount Doom.
Boy.
Wondering, it was good. Like, I definitely felt like I pushed myself to the limit. Maybe if I had taken another second of rest, I would have made it, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. Finals is still to come. Yeah,
absolutely. So let's talk about, because several of your fellow ninjas, such as Faisal Feshi Shavat, Jesse Graff, and Natalie Ninja Duran, all competed on other shows such as Big Brother, The Challenge, and Italian Games. Have you thought about competing on other shows? Why or why not?
So I've gotten offers to compete on other shows. Some shows have reached out to me, but I don't necessarily want to do it. One, because Ninja is like my first love and my only love when it comes to TV. 2, like, I just enjoy doing the obstacles so much. There's just like that moment, where it's like live or die. If I did another sport, I don't think I'm built for that. I like ninja the most. I can swing, I can fly in the air, I can run. If I were to do like the Titan games, not my strong suit. That's not my strong suit. If I was to do a reality TV show, it'd be funny. But at the same time, there's just something about ninja, that just captivates my heart. I think I could ever leave it.
Absolutely. Now we have three more questions I have to ask you. So, okay. What are your favorite social media platforms and why do they stand out?
My favorite social media platforms. So the one and only for me is Instagram. Why Instagram? Just because Instagram is fun. I can make memes on it, and that's pretty much all my Instagram is. Besides from my competition photos, you'll probably find like the most memes related to Ninja Warrior on my page. That's not a Ninja Warrior meme page. It's just the way I post. Most people, they post, oh, I got this skill today. Oh, I did this. Or some people post like their fails and like, oh, I fell here and here's what I learned from here. I like posting my fails, but I like making them funny. Also, because I don't really want to put too much time into other social media platforms, so I just like sticking with the one and only Instagram. I had a Snapchat, but I got distracted with all the filters, and I was like, yeah, you can go. Bye Snapchat.
Same with me. So, alrighty. So, if you had the opportunity to meet with fans who want to compete on either American Ninja Warrior or American Ninja Warrior Junior, what advice would you share with them?
So my advice to anybody seeking to be on the show, or just to compete in general, is have fun with it. Have fun with it. Don't go in with too much pressure. If you get in your head about the show, you're gonna freak yourself out. All right, and then your training's gonna suffer, and your mental state's gonna suffer. But if you have fun with it, that's the one thing that matters the most. All those obstacles is something to swing on. You don't have to really worry about the fastest time. You don't have to worry about being the best. If you have fun while you're training, then you'll have fun while you're competing. Okay.
Awesome. That is so good to hear. So guys, to listen to more episodes of Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast, head to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Once again, just type in Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. 2020 was a huge year for Jake for the podcast, as we've had some of your fellow ninjas on here. We had Sandy Zimmerman, Lance Pincus was on the 75th milestone episode, and also just talked to Najee Richardson. We've also had Big Brother legends like Rachel Riley and Jody Rollins. We've also welcomed Survivor icons such as Rob Cesternino and Ethan Zahn. And plus, America's Got Talent winner Brandon Leak just hours after he won the show, and third place finisher Christina Ray. So you can catch all those conversations on the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast. Also, guys, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Subscribe to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channels. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Once again, Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And I forgot one thing before we move on. What is the best way, David, that my audience can reach you?
Instagram. If you go to Instagram and you type in the Cake Ninja, don't know if you can see it, but it's on the back of my shirt. All right. Then that'll be the best way for you to reach me. Remember, it's DA, not the. It's the. And then I should pop up. Hit me up. I'd love to hear from you guys. Watch my new memes.
All righty. And also, I just want to let you know that I've been a Ninja Warrior super fan. So I've had the opportunity to cover their season 9's visit to my hometown of Kansas City, did interviews with Matt and Akbar, Lance and Rue. And also had the opportunity to talk with Joe Morosky and talk with Wolfpack Ninja co-founders, Dr. Noah Kaufman and Ian Jory. And also, I was able to see the Wolfpack in action when they came to the New York Open back in 2019. So if you want to read those articles, head to jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. I got to tell you this, David. Thank you so much for taking time in your schedule to talk with me. I really appreciate it. You are one of the rising stars in a ninja world, so guys, keep an eye on him.
Thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening. And until next time, thank you.